Yes, yes, ma'am. The current plan, if you think about that property roughly at the depth that Stewart Beach is to the dune right now, I would say at least half of that that's along A1A will be untouched. It'll be. Yes, ma'am.
Since you mentioned that the restaurants were going to be in-house, it seems like a simple thing to put paper straws and no more plastic straws, even though it's not a Florida rule yet. What do you think?
Well, it's certainly not a bad idea. We'll entertain that idea.
Good.
Anything else on any of those projects or the parks? Yes, ma'am.
With regard to the new chef shacks, I'll call it that, at Stewart Beach, when you're taking it over, are you sending it out to a concessionaire? Are you going to just rent it out to a private concessionaire?
No, we felt like that didn't work so well for us at Jensen and Stewart. So we're running them in-house now. We have one full-time county staff that is in charge of Sand Dune Cafe, and then we hire contractual labor for the rest, and it's working fairly well for us. We had a really good weekend this weekend there, and we're going to try to mimic it at Stewart. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mark, you are responsible for the beaches that are along Hutchinson Island, is that correct?
Yes, the beach accesses that the county has.
So
Yes.
you're responsible also for the turtle nesting areas and the upkeep of the turtle nesting and protection of the turtle nesting?
No.
Okay. So
No.
who is responsible for that?
Turtle people.
I don't know the answer to that question. Our responsibilities are operational on those beach accesses. So what we do east of the dune line is more or less pick up trash and debris and inform people. So our staff will inform someone if they're approaching a nest that's marked and they seem like they don't know that situation. If that's all, I want to thank you all.
Hi everyone, I'm Jim Gorton. I'm the Deputy Director of Public Works. I'm going to update you on a couple of projects that I'm aware of. First of which is the DOT project that went along with that lighting project. Part of that project was a sidewalk project. So there's two missing links of sidewalk on the west side of Ocean. DOT has that in the construction phase, which means it's already been let. It's been let to a contractor. The project's been awarded. And they anticipate that project's going to start in late April or May of this year. The sidewalk's going to start at Hutchinson House entrance and run up to Maritimes. That's the first 2,500 feet of it. And then the next portion of it is from Spinnaker Point to Sand Pebble Trace. That's 640 linear feet. So that gives you a continuous sidewalk on the west side of the road from the causeway all the way up to Sand Pebble. Any questions about that project?
Yeah, but no lighting on it, right?
No lighting, yep. No, they removed the lighting completely, but they kept the sidewalk in the project. It is going to require a little bit of grading to make that work. You can't just drop a sidewalk in, and adjustments to driveways and things like that. Yes, sir.
There were grants and funding that went along with that project. What happened to that? For the whole lighting, sidewalks, the whole project?
Yeah, it's not being constructed, so the grants, we're not accepting a grant if we're not going to build the lighting portion of the project. DOT's paying for the sidewalk portion of it through our NPO, which is the Metropolitan Planning Organization. So the way that works is the county has a group that recommends projects. It could be multi-use trails, alternative means of transportation, congestion management projects like that. Our NPO recommends projects to the state. We rank them all, and then we seek funding for those projects. Sir?
Yeah, so again, speaking as a Hutchinson Island resident, not on behalf of my employer, those sidewalks are to go to areas that are currently retention swales or drainage swales. Do you anticipate continuing to have swales along with sidewalks, or will the sidewalks supplant those drainage swales along A1A, which we know floods when it rains?
Yeah, so DOT designed it to, they still have to provide flood protection. They're not going to install a sidewalk that's going to exacerbate the flooding issues that are out there. So they do account for the impact to the stormwater.
That's a good question.
What they've done is, from what I can see from the plans, they've shifted where the swale is, and they've provided, similar volume of storage.
Shifted it where? Back to the homeowners there? Back to
It's kind of between the sidewalk and the road in most locations, because they don't have the sidewalk right against the pavement.
Right.
So what they've done is they've changed the contour of the swale to provide a similar volume.
So in that real narrow neck as you're coming up to the Hutchinson Island Resort area? Never mind.
One thing we could probably do is seek out a set of plans and provide them to you, and then you can see exactly what's going on.
You gotta give us $100.
Let me read that. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any rules and regulations written down, either in a comp plan or, I don't know where, on the construction of roundabouts? Are there any rules? I'm really serious about this.
Yeah, so there are guidelines on how we build roads, and there's definitely guidelines on how the diameter of a roundabout, to make sure that that diameter is sufficient to allow certain size vehicles through there.
What about the distance between roundabouts?
I am not aware of a rule that limits the distance between roundabouts.
Wouldn't you think that would be an important thing? Because I know somebody wants to build one 1/10 of a mile from another one.
Yep, I've seen
You've
some pretty
seen
tight
some,
roundabouts in other communities, yeah. It's a traffic calming feature, it's also a intersection improvement feature. It can work both ways, because it's not a controlled stop, so that if everything's working correctly, you can move traffic pretty well. Yes, sir?
Chance of getting reflectors on the base of the roundabout going north and across.
The Jensen Beach?
Yeah, comes up pretty quick.
Yeah, we can look at that. We've also added signs with chevrons in them in several of the roundabouts where we've had many accidents. What typically happens is we take our roundabouts and we beautify them, we put landscaping in them, and if people they take out the trees. So we've certainly replaced some coconut palms and other trees in those roundabouts. But yes, we will look at RPMs. The RPMs are a bit of a problem. It's similar to the trees. If somebody hits those RPMs then go airborne. So we're not in love with RPMs, but we can look at other ways to improve people seeing them. Sir?
Any consideration for a pedestrian push button to alert a stoplight at the resort? I noticed a few people going through the yellow blinkers, and it seems like that's rather hazardous for the people walking across A1A.
There is not currently a plan to do that, but we do study where accidents occur. So what we don't capture are the near misses, like what you're talking about. But if there is an accident there, we do track those, and if it warranted an improved notification, we would look at it. Yes, sir.
On those pedestrian blinkers, I know they're yellow versus red, and with the sun sometimes hitting it, there's they're hard to see, but is there a reason for yellow versus red when they flash? Or?
Yeah, so yellow is a caution color, so that's why it's yellow. It certainly does work better at dusk and at night than it does during the day. Circling back, now that we're talking about the resort, they did pay for the landscaping that's in front of it, and they also pay for the maintenance of the landscaping in front of it. So they put that in when they constructed the facility. Someone had asked that. Okay, moving on.
Well,
Oh, yes,
I
ma'am.
do believe there is a narrow portion of Northeast Ocean Boulevard as you're headed to the Jensen Roundabout, where the water comes very, very close on the west side. So how is the sidewalk going?
I know the exact spot you're talking about, and that's Joe's Point. So in that section, we're not getting sidewalk, so we're gonna stop that sidewalk at Sand Pebble. So Joe's Point is Public Works has a preserve area in there, we own a lot of that property, and certainly we don't intend to get into that preserve to build the sidewalk. Yep.
And I do have a question, because I called on a couple times, the boathouses that are out in the water there, and it says it's private property. You're gonna be putting the sidewalk through their land? I don't know how much land they have.
That's north of Joe's.
I'm not following. Yeah, that's north of where we're talking. If it's near Joe's Point, that's north of where we're working. Okay. Well, I'm going to move on to some of our capital projects that impact the island. First one is River Cove Preserve. Are you familiar with where that is? That is, as you come over the Stewart Causeway on the left-hand side of the road, there is a preserve area in there. It's where, ma'am?
With the fountain and the children's playground?
No, just over the causeway. It's on your left-hand side. There's some pavers in there. It was going to be a development, and the county purchased it. So River Cove Preserve. Some people paddleboard there. You can see you got the spot. So we're going to put in some shell rock parking there. We're going to do hydrologic restoration and plant mangroves to restore what used to be on that site. And there's going to be a picnic pavilion, and there's going to be a single ADA handicap parking space in there. And trash receptacles, because there certainly is a bit of a problem with users of that area sometimes don't clean up after themselves, so we're going to help them do that. So that project's happening this year. We have already have an approved plan, and that project's going to be constructed with our ecosystems funds, our ecosystem restoration group. Any questions on that one? Sir?
As you look toward parking at River Cove, would you make sure that it's set up to allow a school bus to get in and out of it? That's a spot that is used for field trips. There you go.
Absolutely. So, good point. So we're going to put in a area so that you can back, school buses can back in there. We are aware of that they need a improved access to get out of there. Yes, ma'am.
Not really related to that particularly, but I do walk that bridge a lot, and there's no place to throw any trash away when you see it, if you want to pick it up, rather than carry it for 3 miles, take it home, which I do, but it would be really nice if there wasn't some trash receptacles anywhere along that stretch.
Yeah, we can talk. So DOT, our state partners, maintain both of those bridges, and we can talk to them about to see if there's a spot that we can do that.
I know it's a hassle because then people throw a lot of trash in them and then they're overflowing and they have to be emptied, but I think there's a lot of people that, especially in this area, love to pick up the trash.
Oh yeah, it seems the bridge walkers do a great job of that.
Yes.
Certainly at the Veterans Memorial Bridge going over to Palm City, we have an inordinate amount of trash that's picked up, and our parks folks help empty those trash cans, and they're full very frequently. I'll put in a note down to contact DOT. We have a similar problem up on the Jensen Causeway as well. Yes, sir.
Is the DOT responsible for the lighting on the bridge?
Yes, DOT maintains that bridge and all of the assets associated with it.
Terrible this past year. With the lighting's out, mismatched, cones on top.
So when you see something like that, you can contact the state directly, or you can contact the Public Works Department. We'd be happy to reach out to them and get that info to them. Sometimes it helps when we do it as a local government, you know, it pushes them a little bit to move faster to resolve it. So, you know, when you see something like that, just give us a buzz, or you can go onto our online request for service system, and we'll reach out to them. Yeah, certainly you guys as the users see it more with DOTs, they work 9 to 5, and they don't see the lights as frequently as you do. Yes, ma'am?
With all the new parking lots and so forth, is there any talk of EV charging stations?
I'm not aware of any. There's one in downtown Stewart, right here, right? Yeah.
A lot of sidewalks, FPL putting their trucks there and putting the, you know, the hydraulic feet in. Are they gonna be responsible for being,
Real quick, it sounded like not a lot of people asked. She was asking about, are there going to be electronic vehicle charging stations, and I'm not aware of any current plans at the time. So his question was about FPL breaking sidewalks. Utility companies are the bane of the existence for sidewalk maintenance folks, because they do break a lot of vehicles with their outriggers. They, you know, they're working in a limited space. I understand what their issue is. There are pads that they can put underneath their trucks. The very best thing that you as residents can do for us, if you see it, snap a picture with your smartphone, send that over to us, and then we can track it down, and then FPL will pay to repair that. Otherwise, local funds are used to repair it. So, you know, we have, the more people that look for that, the better, and it certainly would help us. You know, not just on the internet that you see it. And I get it, they're trying to maintain their facilities, they're above the sidewalk. Where are they going to work? But there are pads they can use, excuse me, to mitigate that issue.
the gas station, that's on the west side of Oaks, right before the bridge. There's a maintenance area in there. What is it?
Okay, so the gas station on the north side as you're approaching the Stewart Causeway, that is the maintenance building for the Hutchinson Island area.
That used to be a sewage disposal.
There is, and now the county has that. I don't want to steal Don's thunder, but there is going to be some, a new county facility over that way in the future. Our fire station is going to be over there, but the maintenance facility is going to remain for sure. But it is not a sewage treatment plant anymore. They're tied into our system.
Oh, sewer system. Question on the sewer?
Yes, ma'am.
The two boathouses, how did they get rid of their sewer?
So I don't know about those two boat houses. I'm not super familiar with them, but I do know that Martin County has a pumper boat that we go to boats that are moored out in our waterways, and we offer that service. We pump out, you know, holding tanks on boats and dispose of it properly, because as you know, there is another way to dispose of that, which is just to pump it into the river, which is not what we want. So we have pumper boats that take care of it. I think it's called Miss Poop. Very apt name. And the boat, the former Miss Poop has since retired, and that is now our coastal engineering boat. So we use that boat to do some marine shore service. Or coastal service. So I've got two more projects. One of them is a capital project that's currently unfunded. It is the Jensen Beach and Stewart Impoundment Restoration Project. So it's really projects in both of the two impoundments. If you're not familiar, one impoundment is as you come over the Jensen Causeway, it's on the north side of the road on the left-hand side. That area we had some dieback of mangroves in the past. We have some very poor water quality. We don't have good flow of water through there. It has never not been dredged in 50 years. So it's had a CIP sheet for 2 years. The CIP sheet is a capital improvement plan sheet, so that's what we do for our larger projects. Hasn't been funded, but we did apply for some grants in the last grant cycle. We're getting very close to getting over $1 million in grants from our state and federal agencies. It hasn't been awarded yet, but we're very hopeful that it will. If that happens, we're going to be able to go in and dredge out some of those old channels that are in there, add some more pipes to increase the inflow of water coming in, and just improve the overall health of it. Yeah. Yes, ma'am?
I called down there a few times, last year and the year before, but it's even worse this year. The mangroves are just about all gone there now. So if and when you get the money, will you replace all those mangroves?
So, yes, we will. Right now, there's two different cells. You were talking about Jensen Beach. There's two different cells in Jensen Beach. There's a northern cell, which has some diversity. It's got whites and reds, and but the southern cell, which is the one that had the dieback, that was all red. It was a monoculture of, and part of that problem is it's all one elevation, and the mangroves, just the only ones that would survive were the reds, and so yes, we are going to plant back materials in there. We're going to improve the flow, but there's already volunteers that are growing in there, so there is seed source in there, and there's some that are growing, but we need to get that water quality a little bit better. We need to be able to move more water through there. The way we maintain both of those two sites is we've got some pump systems, and we pump water in and out of it as the conditions warrant. But the year we had the dieback, it was a very wet year, and we had a lot of fresh water, and it was rather deep in there. So we need to be able to move that water out a little bit easier. Any questions about those two projects? Okay. Last one I have is, it's kind of a project that's hanging out there. This is one that was funded by the former Hutchinson Island group. It was the phase 3 of the, it's the north side of Ocean, where you guys were talking about the swamp. Well, that area on the north side still holds water. There's no way to drain that water down. So they planted some very nice plants in there, but it holds water. So the intent of that last phase of the project was to install a pipe under the entrance that goes back to that gas station and allow the water to go through the water catchment areas to the west of there. The intent of that is just to get some turnover of the water. As you know, sometimes during the summertime it gets a little bit funky in there. We get some algae growing in.